The coronavirus pandemic is causing significant economic distress, not only nationally, but here locally for many people in our community. Restaurants have closed their doors except for carryout or delivery, and all non-essential businesses have been shut down. We know that many of you out there are dealing with job losses and furloughs related to these activities being shut down, and there are a lot of small businesses out there who have uncertainty about the future of where we're headed as we remain closed over the next month due to the governor's recent executive orders. So here today joining me, I'm very pleased to have Director Darréll Brown, who leads our Economic Development Department, and Deputy Marcia Keeth, who also has a wide variety of roles within economic development to support and communicate with you all and make sure that our small businesses have what they need during this very difficult time. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Good to be here, Jen.
Good morning, Jen.
So let's start with you, Darréll. I know that Charles County's Economic Development Department is working to bring everybody the latest information about resources that are available as they navigate this challenging time. Can you specifically talk about the few of the things that you've been working on? I know you've been extraordinarily busy since this whole pandemic situation started to evolve.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Jen. I think what's most important and the first thing I want the business community and the community at large to know is that in order for the department to provide the latest information and resources available, the department is teleworking. Now, our entire department is teleworking. I want the community to know that the department is fully connected, is fully integrated, that we will continue to be able to provide services to the community. We will maintain our standard in terms of service delivery to the community, and we're doing that virtually now, and we're doing that through meetings, virtual meetings. We're doing it through Zoom meetings. We are constantly conferencing. And so it's important to know, in order for the department to bring and provide the latest information and resources and to be able to navigate during these challenging times, that they know that the department is up and running. We've never stopped running. And in as much as we're also responding to COVID-19 matters, we're also maintaining our normal services under normal conditions and under normal environment. And so that's first. That's the first thing I want the community to know, that their economic development department is working, and we're fully functional, and we're providing services to the community. Now, specifically in terms of the latest information, we've spent a very long time working to ensure that we're connected at the state level, making sure that we receive all the relevant information and real-time information, if you will, from the state, as we also receive it from the federal government. As you know, there's a $2 trillion stimulus package that we're doing a deep dive in, so that we can make sure that we're connected with that, and we can make sure that we get that information out to the community as best as possible. Now, Marcia Keeth, who again is the deputy, but she really runs our social media platform, and I'll turn it over to her because she may want to add a little more to what I've just said.
Thanks, Darréll. Yes, we are working very hard to make sure that we are up to date on the latest information available. And as everybody knows, new information comes out daily. And then making sure that we sort through it and get it out there and make that information accessible to our businesses. From the start of this crisis, we recognized that we needed a couple of platforms, new platforms for that. So we created some new pages on our website, and our website is meetcharlescounty.com. And we created two new pages right off the bat. One is a page where we assemble information and add information and update information about the resources that are available to businesses. And that especially is important because the businesses right now, as everybody knows, are really struggling. And there is so much happening and so much that is new with the state level resources that are being made available, loans and grants, as well as the federal program, also loans and grants. And rather than businesses having to go out and search the internet for all of that, we have assembled all of that information complete with links and even links to some very, very good documents that spell out the programs, the various programs that are available to businesses, both federal and state. And we keep that updated daily as new information comes out. And it's still going to be coming out because as these programs are created, new websites are being created at the federal level for businesses to apply. We will keep all of our information on our website updated so that all a business has to do is just go to the one page and find all the links. The other thing that we are doing is we created a web page where businesses can report their own operating status. So it creates an opportunity for businesses to let their customers know what's going on. Are they open? Are they closed? Are they operating online? And we continue to update that daily as well. And then also on our webpage, we have a link to the Charles County government COVID site that has tons of very good information for all citizens.
Thank you, Marcia, for pointing out what's available. I know that one of the first things you all did was put that site together to provide our local businesses with the opportunity to promote hours and service delivery models that up to this point may not have been happening in quite this way. I think a lot of businesses have adapted their service delivery models to address these challenging times. So one of the silver linings is that there's a lot of innovation going on in the way that people are now connecting with customers as their physical locations have had to close. How have you all observed that occurring in our community here in Charles, and how are you working to support the growth of that as we continue to deal with this pandemic in the days and weeks ahead?
Well, we absolutely are seeing businesses take their operations online, and I'm seeing some wonderful innovation out there, and I'm so impressed with some of our entrepreneurs, many of our entrepreneurs who are doing everything from the clever to the very innovative. There are Island Music, for instance, is doing online music classes. And I know that a lot of healthcare providers are starting to do online doctor visits when it makes sense. We even have seen some new products being created. Charles Street Bakery doing a cake shaped like toilet paper that has gotten a whole lot of attention. And I know a Crown Trophy has done an entire line of quarantine products. So it's been interesting to see the innovation and the creativity that has gone into it, but it's also frustrating, I'm sure, because there are a lot of businesses who have been operating in physical locations, and their online presence has been limited to a website that provides information. And tapping into some of the new technology has been a challenge for many. And so what we are going to start doing is some online training ourselves about how to tap into this technology and continue to operate online, as well as just taking some of the regular trainings that we were doing as a department. We had been holding business training classes since the first of the year. We had created an entire series that was going to go through the first half of the year, and we've had to cancel those just like everything else has been canceled. So we're going to take some of our trainings online as well, and maybe even adapt the topics as needed, when it's needed, to address some of the more current issues that are happening with businesses. So learning how to transition from a physical location to online has been a process for all of us, and we are going to continue to help our businesses with that process.
That is fantastic, Marcia. Thank you. I want to remind folks you can go to meetcharlescounty.com to get information on trainings and virtual resources that can be useful to you during this time. Speaking today with Darréll Brown, the Director of the Economic Development Department here in Charles County, and Marcia Keeth, the Deputy Director. Darréll, let's shift back to you for a second. I want to talk about the existing revolving loan fund that you all manage, and I want to talk a little bit more about how it's being adjusted during this time to address some of the unique needs that our small business community has.
Well, yesterday we had a commissioners meeting, and we presented our ideas and suggestions to the Board of Commissioners concerning how we want to adjust our two loan funds. We have a business development revolving loan fund, and we have a targeted industry incentive loan fund. And we are adjusting the criteria for those funds to meet the challenges of businesses that have been impacted by COVID-19. And what we're trying to do is fill in the gap, if you will. We don't want to duplicate or replicate anything that the state is doing or the federal government. But what we're trying to do is to modify our criteria a bit so that we can get monies on the street to businesses that have been affected by COVID-19. The funds are structured a little bit differently, and Lucretia Freeman Buster, who's our Chief of Business Development, will be meeting this week in light of our meeting with the commissioners, because they had some very good suggestions in terms of criteria suggestions that they would like to see. And so what she will be doing is meeting with the two loan committees jointly and sharing the commissioners' thoughts on criteria, and then we'll be finalizing both loan fund criteria, and then we'll be launching that in a very short period of time. I am very pleased that the commissioners were extremely supportive of what we're trying to do in terms of adjusting our criteria. They were in full support of it. And so I think that once we get it launched, which will be in a very short order of time now, that again, it will be to provide some gap funding, if you will, for businesses in Charles County that have been impacted by COVID-19.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I want to just final question for you all. What other types of economic relief activities are underway that you're aware of that you would especially want our community and our business owners to know about or learn more about through contacting your office?
There is now the National Restaurant Association has just launched a relief program, a grant program to restaurant employees. And what it is that they're issuing a $500 check to restaurant workers affected by COVID-19. It starts April the 2nd. It's a one-time check of $500, and the employees or workers that are affected by COVID-19 can use that those monies for just about anything, for medical expenses, groceries, rent, utilities, or other issues that they need funds to cover during this time. But it is on a first come, first served basis. And so I would urge folks that are listening to go to the National Restaurant Association email and take a look at that, because I'm sure the grant monies will move very quickly, and I don't know the amount of money that they have, but they are making an effort to at least help employees, specifically employees that are being affected in the restaurant industry by COVID-19.
Also, we have partners here locally that we work with year round and have in economic development in general. And the first one that comes to mind, of course, is the Small Business Development Center. The SBDCs are working very closely, and the SBDCs are affiliated with the Small Business Association, the SBA, and they are working very closely with businesses to help them access this federal relief package. And of course, SBDCs also offer all kinds of counseling and assistance to businesses, and they are going to be working to help businesses through this crisis as well, with access to the relief funds, as well as just helping them think through what they need to do to survive. There are also, as Darréll mentioned, the Restaurant Association initiative. There are associations, professional associations, and industry that are all working together to try to find resources and support for each other. And I have to say, one of the things that has just absolutely filled my heart with joy through this whole process is watching businesses themselves support each other, help each other. In the very beginning, there were efforts by local restaurants to provide discounts to first responders. There were customers who were donating to that. I think in the next few weeks, as we have this stay-at-home order, it's going to be a little bit less of that. But I do see, whether it's online or in person, when you're talking about essential personnel or essential activities, I do see the community and the private sector stepping up to help each other, and that's very heartwarming. And I think it says a lot about our community here in Charles County.
Well,
And to
go ahead.
piggyback what Marcia just said, out of necessity breeds innovation. And I know that we're in a very difficult time now, and we're a very stressful time, but oftentimes that brings on innovation. And I think looking on the bright side of things, once we come through the COVID-19 experience, I think that the business community will find that, again, looking at on the positive side in terms of business and business development, I think this experience will help businesses through their innovative thinking process, and that will only assist them to continue to grow and strengthen their businesses once we get to the other side of COVID-19, which I will refer to as the recovery side. And so I think there is a very strong likelihood that businesses will come out of this stronger than when they went into COVID-19. And yes, there is the practical part as well. There will be some businesses that may not recover. And we know that, and not only just in Charles County, but in the D.C. metropolitan region. And we know that that's a real strong possibility. But we're going to do all that we can with our programs that we're working on, and the programs that the state have as well as the federal government, to provide resources and services to as many businesses as we possibly can, so that they do make it through this crisis, and then on the other side of recovery, they come out stronger than before.
All right. I think you've answered all the questions that we had for you today. Thank you both for your time and the energy and effort that you're putting into supporting our small business community. We've said it before in this program, but it's worth mentioning again. The power of our community is stronger than any virus, and we will get through this together. Darréll, Marcia, we're encouraging people to visit you all on meetcharlescounty.com. Where can they call you, Darréll, if they need more information and just want to talk to somebody directly on your team?
301-885-1340.
So 301-885-1340. Thanks to you both. Well, we're very grateful, and I hope you are too, for the wonderful resources and wealth of information that Darréll and Marcia were able to share with us over the last few minutes. If you have any further questions, once again, I encourage you to call their department directly. You can reach them at 301-885-1340. and their staff is working virtually to answer all of your questions and point you in the right direction to our state and federal partners to access some of the many resources that are out there to get you through the difficult days and months ahead. We are here with you. We are going to support you in every way that we can, and we will get through this together. Thank you so much for listening.